call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House Jones. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Before we go to the Pledge of Allegiance, I do want to make sure that we have a special memorial and moment of silence for what we're watching happen in the Middle East. So if we could just take a moment of silence for that too. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember McCormack, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with, the journal approved. Seconded by Councilmember Slife.
Thank you. We'll now go. Get started. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House Jones. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everyone rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Harsh, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with, the journal approved. Seconded by Councilmember Kelly.
All right, we'll move to public comment, and I'd ask everyone if they could please acknowledge the speakers, and then I'd ask the speakers to please make sure you follow the rules and the guidelines of Cleveland City Council, and any disruptive or any things that are against our rules, we will have to move on. So, and please acknowledge your time. So first we have Kathy McDonald from Ward 5. She wants to talk about parents' responsibility for children. She's with the St. Hyacinth's Block Club. Ms. McDonald, you have the floor.
Good evening. First and foremost, I am the Hyacinths community and been talking about this exact same thing of finding a way to make parents responsible for their kids' behavior. We are glad to see that this ordinance is finally moving forward. Some of us have reached out to municipal court judges and the juvenile court for help on this exact subject. We would like to see some of the juveniles out here doing court community service instead of taking up time in court along with the parent or guardian. This should be countywide and not just in the city of Cleveland. Just not all the juveniles are getting caught in the city. Some are causing havoc in other suburbs. stealing vehicles, robberies, and vandalism, just to name a few. Another concern from a resident is to ask the mayor and commissioner is, what are they going to do when we drop below an unsafe staffing number? We don't feel that having officers work 12-hour shifts, that this is the answer to all the crime out here. The officers are already overworked as it is. How is this ordinance going to be enforced? A couple of months before the Hyacinth Community Block Club got into the subject about doing something with the kids and causing trouble, was originally brought up by a resident at the 3rd District Community Relations meeting, and she couldn't get any answer that night. So it is about time this is finally being out here to get a green light. Hopefully we will see a change in the behavior of these juveniles from keep getting away with all this crime throughout the streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Dantes Taylor. Dantes Taylor's from Ward 4 to talk about Child Family Services. He's not representing anyone, and he is not being paid by anyone. Dantes.
Okay, my name is Dantes Taylor, and I would like to know what City Council can do to help the kids in our juvenile detention center by putting some active programs in there so they can learn and come out of that juvenile detention center with some skills, some talent, and everything else while they're in there, and get them to rehabilitate them in our system. And what can we do to get down there to Child and Family Services and make it better for our kids and get them into good homes and good things that we need to do. And I would like to see if the city of Cleveland can go out there and find out how we can get all these lead pipes out of our city and put some new pipes in our communities out here today.
Thanks, Dantes. Next, we have Stefan Katanovich, and from Ward 7, wrongfully banned at Galleria Erie View Tower, representing no one and being paid by no one. Please proceed.
Okay. I made my first speech a few months ago. My goal is to become a household name with all members of City Council. I am wrongly banned at the Erie View Tower. 8 years ago, Galleria Security told me that I was banned for life from entering the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. Once again, 8 years ago, Galleria Security told me that I was banned for life from entering the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. Why was I banned? I was wrongly accused of doing something. 2 security guards wrongly accused me of masturbating in the restrooms, something I did not do. Once again, 2 security guards wrongly accused me of masturbating in the restrooms, something I did not do. I am a victim of rumors and corporate conspiracy. Revitalizing the Erie View Tower. That slogan is well known over here. James Kassoff is the current owner of the Erie View Tower, and I am writing monthly letters to James Kassoff. Once again, 8 years ago, 2 guards told me that I was banned for life from entering the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. I was wrongly accused of masturbating in the restrooms. Remember the Andy Griffith Show? Remember Mayberry? Remember Little Opie? if you didn't know, one of Opie's young friends got blacklisted at a local company. That's right, one of Opie's little friends got blacklisted at a local company in Mayberry. The young boy agreed to sell products for a company, then he backed out. Then the company blacklisted him on the Andy Griffith Show. As for me, I am wrongly banned at the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. I have to make a stand against it. I am 49 years old. I am sober and rarely drink alcohol. My name is Stephen Katanovic. Again, my name is Stephen Katanovic, or in short, Stephen K.
I got Carrie, but I'll put you on after Carrie, okay? All right, thank you. Okay, next we have Sharonda Robinson from North Collinwood, and the topic that she has is CMSD employment. She is not representing anyone and is not being paid by anyone. Sharonda. Is Sharonda Robinson here? Sharonda Robinson going once. Sharonda Robinson going twice. Sharonda Robinson is not here. Next, we have Fatine Oda from Midtown neighborhood and is here to talk about misrepresentation. And Fatim is representing the Council on Arab-Islamic Relations with Cleveland and is not being paid by anyone.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. May God's peace be upon you. My name is Fatin O'Day, and I am the Interim Executive Director of the Cleveland and Northern Ohio chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. I am here to address the hurtful, one-sided statements about the tragedy in the Middle East coming from some of our Cleveland leadership. To state that Cleveland stands with Israel is not only a gross misuse of your position as a civil servant, but a complete disregard of the tens of thousands of Palestinian Americans who reside right here in Greater Cleveland, your constituents, in which you bear a responsibility to. I have come to the conclusion that you must not know what is really happening because any decent human being with a soul would never make such absolute direct statements of support for such a violent military regime without talking about the human cost exacted by the civilians across the region. As a Muslim, it's important for me to say from the start that we value all human life, and when innocent people die, it is indeed a tragedy. The violence that erupted is not without context. Anyone who has taken a history class knows there's always a cause to an effect. The events of October 7th was a response to the cruel and brutal oppression and illegal occupation that the Palestinians have been enduring for decades from the Israeli apartheid state. This illegal occupation of Palestinian land by Israel affects the lives of innocent human beings every single day. The 2.2 million people of Gaza, many of whose families were ethnically cleansed by Israel, have been living for nearly 2 decades in an open-air prison, often living without the basic necessities like food, water, and electricity. These unbearable conditions brought forth by the occupying entity, Israel, also affects those living in other areas of Palestine, including Jerusalem and the West Bank. My father-in-law, a man who lived in Cleveland for much of his life, passed away just a few days ago in Palestine from cancer. On top of dealing with this crippling terminal illness, can you imagine? He had to actually ask for permission from his occupiers simply to travel to where he needed to go in Palestine, the country of his birth, to receive life-saving treatment. As if cancer wasn't difficult enough, he had to deal with such degrading treatment brought to him by the occupation. Not only are your one-sided statements in support for occupation and oppression of millions of people cruel, but the allocation of our tax dollars, also paid by us, Palestinian Americans, are being used to purchase millions of dollars of illegal settlements and outposts on stolen Palestinian land in violation of international law. Free Palestine.
Next, we have Abbas Hamadeh from Mayfield Heights, representing the topic of Palestine and representing Al-Awda, and is not being paid by anyone.
Good evening, members of the City Council, Mayor Bibb, and everybody here. You're going to hear similar statements as made as Palestinians of the current situation that's going on right now. I think it's appalling that a mayor speaks on behalf of the city, like he did on Twitter, stating that Cleveland supports the Israeli military occupation of the Palestinian people. That is really shameful, especially now as we speak, where there's a carpet bombing of Palestinians currently being conducted right now, and 1.1 million Palestinians who are currently being removed from their homes right now to southern Gaza. These are people who have been occupied. These are people who have been terrorized for 75 years. I happen to be a Palestinian refugee originally from the village of Deir Yassin that was massacred on April 9, 1948. One simple search on the internet, and you will see the village of Deir Yassin, which basically was a fuse to the Nakba, AKA Palestinian catastrophe. It is appalling that a mayor, that a leader of such a great city can state and jump on the bandwagon like many leaders are doing now around the world, just to bandwagon, just to look cool, as if Palestinians didn't have a right to resist, as if only Ukraine and white people, blonde hair and blue-eyed people had a right to resist, and not brown or black people. That is very shameful, and words have consequences. Words have consequences. When you dehumanize a people, they get persecuted. Right now, we are going through a 9/11 scale of people showing their hostility towards Palestinians and Muslims. We had a 6-year-old child in Chicago who was killed by his landlord, a 71-year-old white male who killed a 6-year-old Palestinian child and stabbed his mother. From the same rhetoric that these leaders right now are stating or expressing the so-called solidarity. I think it's time that leaders around the world, whether they be mayors, presidents, governors, step up and stop the status quo. The only way to end brutality, the only way to end attacks from organizations like Hamas, who came into existence 40 years after the Israeli occupation, is to end it, end the occupation, and find a viable solution. Let's stop scapegoating the Palestinians for an illegal occupation that has been going on for over 75 years. I repeat, the conflict did not start 2 days ago. 75 years ago, free Palestine.
Time. Next, we have Haneen Hamida. And Haneen Hamida is from Mayfield Heights. And Haneen Hamida would also like to make a statement regarding leadership statements. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here today to speak about a statement released by Mayor Bibb on October 7th. He said, and I quote, "My prayers are with the people of Israel today as they confront these acts. Terrorism has no place in our society." I agree with you, Mr. Bibb, that terrorism has no place in our society. And because we are in agreement, I wanted to address the acts of terrorism taking place today regarding the collective punishment against 2 million people in the Gaza Strip. 2 million people, in which half are children. 2 million people who have been held hostage in the largest open-air prison in the world. 2 million people that are being denied food, water, and electricity. 2 million people that are trapped. Did you know that Israel warned the Palestinian people in Gaza to evacuate to the south because they were going to bomb the north? Did you know that when the Palestinian people listened to the warning and traveled south, the Israeli military decided to bomb them in the south anyway? Did you know that in the span of 1 week, Israel dropped 6,000 bombs on Gaza? Did you know that the Human Rights Watch confirmed that among these bombs was white phosphorus? white phosphorus that is prohibited under Protocol 3 of the United Nations Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. Did you know that in the span of 1 week, 47 entire families have been wiped from the Gaza Civil Registry? Did you know that in the span of 1 week, Israel has killed 2,670 and counting Palestinian people? And did you know that out of those 2,670 people killed, 724 of them were children? Because we are in agreement that terrorism has no place in our society and you have failed to make a statement, I'm going to assume that you didn't know. Next, I wanted to address the second part of your statement, Mayor Bibb. You said, and I quote, "Cleveland stands in solidarity with Israel in the face of terror and condemns these acts of evil." Mayor Bibb, I have to disagree with you here and tell you that Cleveland does not stand in solidarity with Israel. This past Friday, over 500 people marched to this city hall to protest against the war crimes Israel has committed this past week and for the past 75 years in Palestine. Cleveland does not support the displacement of over 700,000 Palestinians in 1948 and over 300,000 more Palestinian people in 1967. Cleveland does not support the illegal expansion of Israeli settlements over Palestinian villages today, like in Sheikh Jarrah and Jenin. Cleveland does not support the $3.8 billion that Biden agreed to and the $8 billion approved just this week. And Cleveland does not support the illegal siege on 2 million Palestinians in Gaza today. Cleveland knows better than to support the ethnic cleansing and genocide of an entire group of people indigenous to their land. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Amina Hamdan from Lakewood to talk about leadership tweets. Representing no one and not being paid by anyone.
Good evening. I just wanted to start off by expressing my gratitude for this platform, as my Palestinian brothers and sisters overseas have been silenced and unable to represent themselves. They are currently drowning in false representations spread by Western media, including a statement given by you, Mr. Bibb. On October 7th, you posted a tweet in solidarity with Israel, labeled a marginalized group as terrorists and condemned them for their acts of terror. When I read this message, my body was consumed with disappointment, but I realized you cannot be angry with someone who does not understand what is going on. I came here today to help you paint a picture. Imagine you are a doctor working in a hospital aiding wounded civilians. Consumed with work, you forget to check in on your family, but you go on about your day healing the sick and injured and discovered your family has come to visit you. However, they are not in the same condition you left them that same morning when you hugged them goodbye before work. You find your wife unconscious in a hospital bed, and before you can comprehend her condition, you are dragged into a room with long rows of evenly spaced body bags. You are guided to a bag at the end of the row, and as they open it, you recognize the child inside. It's your 4-year-old son. So what happened? While you were gone helping others, your family's home that you have spent your entire life taking care of was demolished in a matter of seconds by occupational forces. Your wife is the sole survivor of the building collapse. This image is not a fiction. It is an everyday experience in fear for millions of Palestinians trapped in a 25 by 7 mile prison. So what do? You run to the bathroom to wash your face to brace yourself for the anguish. You go to charge your phone to check in on the rest of your family. You take a few days off work, mourn the loss of your son. You prepare to ensure that your wife receives the best medical care possible. You make mental plans for your son's funeral. But wait, you're getting ahead of yourself. Did you forget? You can't go wash your face because you don't have water. You can't charge your phone because you don't have electricity. You can't call your family members because you don't have internet access, and they're all dead anyway. You can't take a few days off of work and you no longer have a home. You can't provide your wife with proper medical care because your captors have yet again denied the import of medical services, and the hospital you work at is running low on supplies. You can't host a funeral because there's no one to attend, and you can't bury your son because the cemeteries are up to capacity. So what do? Go back to work. Your wife may recover, but she'll never be the same. Your son's body is squished in an ice cream truck freezer along with other martyrs because it's too risky to leave the body at the hospital in case your place of work is the next destination of a white phosphorus bomb. And as the last living member of your family, your death will wipe the lineage from your earth. Malcolm X said, "The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and make the guilty innocent." You, Mr. Bibb, have become a victim to this, and after hearing all of our voices and receiving all of this information, your ignorance to the Palestinian genocide has officially expired.
Time. Next, we have Summer Hassan. Summer Hassan is from Berea and here to talk about leadership comments, representing no one and not being paid by anyone.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you remember me, Mayor Bibb, but I met you last year as an intern for Senator Brown. To be honest, Mr. Bibb, before today, all I knew about you was the fact that you support union pensions and the apartheid state of Israel. I was taught not to be quick to judge, so I did my research, but I do have a question for you, Mr. Bibb. When did you decide that some lives are worth more than others? Very open and clear on your website, you highlight that everyone deserves to feel safe in our neighborhoods, at school, or at the grocery store. Well, Mr. Bibb, in case you didn't know, the greater Cleveland area is home to over 25,000 displaced Palestinians, and your tweet in support of Israel ensured that none of them feel safe. With your tweet, you decided that the lives of Palestinians in Cleveland were worth less than the rest of your constituents. With your tweet, you decided that the lives of over 2 million Palestinians in Gaza were worth less than the lives of others. From your initiatives, Mayor Bibb, it is clear that you have a passion for ensuring that people have access to education and that affordable housing is available to all those in Cleveland. Well, Mr. Bibb, in case you were unaware, the people of Gaza no longer have access to education as their schools have been wiped out, books blown to bits. Not to mention that while you push for affordable housing, Palestinians have no housing at all. Their houses have been pulverized to dust in a matter of a week by this apartheid state that you seem to be standing in solidarity with. So again, Mr. Bibb, I ask, when did you decide that Palestinian lives weren't worth as much as others? Mayor Bibb, if you remember, your office released a statement in February 2022, quote, "As thousands of individuals are displaced from their homes and livelihoods in the face of war and violence, we want to remind the world that the city of Cleveland are here to embrace them with open arms," end quote. In just 1 week, Israel has admitted, confirmed, and celebrated killing over 1,000 Palestinian children. In a whole year, Russia killed 487 Ukrainian children. May they all rest in peace. Well, again, Mr. Bibb, I ask you, why do the lives of Ukrainians matter more than the lives of Palestinians? You rightfully defended Ukrainians, going as far as to offer them asylum, while Palestinians have been enduring a genocide for over 75 years. And please don't take my word for it. Israel has admitted to all of its international war crimes. So again, Mayor Bibb, I ask, why did you decide that some lives are worth more than others? Today, Mayor Bibb, I'm going to ask you to not be quick to judge, to carefully consider all you hear today, and to consider all you will hear from the media after today. As we've seen and proven numerous times in the past, the devil works hard, but the Western media works harder. Today, Mayor Bibb, council, and everyone in this room, I hope you recognize your American privilege. You will go home to a house with running water, heat, food, access to education, and most of all, safety. Today, Mayor Bibb, you will be able to go home, and now that you know that you won't have to defend your existence or your place as a human. You will go home and wake up tomorrow in a house surrounded by all the amenities you so quickly decided that an entire ethnicity does not deserve. Words have impact, Mayor Bibb, and after today, I hope you recognize that. Because with just one tweet, you dismissed and diminished the oppression of Palestinians have had to endure for over 75 years. Mayor Bibb, Palestinians know that what our voices are worth, as we have been shouting for decades and will continue to until the world finally decides that our lives are worth something too. Palestinians will continue to exist unapologetically, and due to the world's ignorance, Mayor Bibb, we pay the price for that every day. I don't know about you, Mr. Bibb, but I was taught the only authority on whose lives matter was God, and with your tweet, you decided that was you. Your initiatives and your stance on the apartheid state of Israel don't seem to be adding up. You always fight for initiatives that improve people's lives,
Time.
so why is it? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Omar Kurdi from Strongsville to talk about ceasefire in Palestine and Israel.
Greetings, Mayor Bibb, Council President Griffin, and council members. My name is Omar, and I'm an Arab American working in Cleveland and residing in Strongsville. I come to you not with joy, but with sadness and disappointment. Sad because of all the violence taking place in Palestine and Israel. Disappointed because while the city condemned Hamas's attack on Israel, there was no mention of the violence Palestinians in Gaza are going through today and have been going through since the siege began in 2007. This isn't a 10-day conflict. This is a decades-long occupation. Ironically, today is the 16th anniversary of me moving into the greater Cleveland area. I was able to accomplish a lot here, but today I am fearful for my community. Just yesterday, a Palestinian child in Chicago, 6 years old, Wadi al-Fayoum, was stabbed 26 times and murdered. His mom was also attacked and is in critical care. This happened because of the biased media coverage in the U.S. where Palestinians have been dehumanized consistently for the past 10 days. This happened because our own president called our Arab American community a domestic threat. I don't stand for violence nor terrorism. I stand for every life and every faith and every human. I have poured my heart and soul into this city, but for what? What is Cleveland going to do to protect me and my fellow Arab Americans? I'm here to demand that Cleveland fights for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. I demand that Cleveland stands and calls for aid to enter Gaza immediately to assist Palestinians who are out of food, water, electricity, and a roof to sleep under. I'm here to demand that Cleveland commits to protecting all its residents and visitors from all different faiths and ethnic backgrounds. The attack in Chicago could happen here. Just last week, a random person posted a picture of me while I was here next to the City Hall doing a TV interview, wearing this scarf, calling me a terrorist. This could potentially put me and other community members in danger. And I want to see a real commitment from the city to protect us, humanize us and our people, and to stand up for all civilian lives. I condemn the murders of Israeli innocent civilians as much as I condemn the murders of Palestinian innocent civilians. But this isn't a fair fight. This isn't a war between two countries. Palestinians in Gaza do not deserve to be collectively punished. Entire families have been eradicated. Buildings have been flattened. The death toll is almost 3,000. Over 1,000 children have been killed. Hospitals have been bombed. First responders have been murdered. Journalists have been murdered in Gaza and in Lebanon. A ceasefire is immediately needed to save what is left of Gaza and its people. Humanity will remember that you only cared for one side and not the other. I should not fear for losing my job or my life, and for simply demanding that Palestinian innocent lives be given the same amount of concern, love, mourning, and outrage as Israeli lives. If humanity is what you stand for, do something, demand a ceasefire, and stop this cycle of violence while also protecting us here in our home of choosing. We could all do better. Thank you.
All right, that's the end of public comment. And Madam Clerk, please move to communications.
File number 1180, 2023, from Mayor Justin M. Bibb, appointment to City Planning Commission. File number 1181, 2023, dedication plat for proposed Equinox subdivision, west side of West 48th Street between Detroit Avenue and Franklin Boulevard, Ward 3. Approved by committees on municipal services and properties and development planning and sustainability. Without objection, plat approved.
Are there any condolence resolutions?
Resolutions of condolence by Councilmember Jones for Deborah Denise Ross Smith, by Councilmember Polensik for Father Kajauskas.
Is that all we have right now?
Yes.
Councilwoman House?
Yes, if you can hold out a number for Brandy Boswell, as well as Judith and Randy Burks.
Councilwoman, are those the two men out in, okay, thank you.
No. Those were, unfortunately, the two relatives who were allegedly killed by their uncle on East 67th Street.
Okay, sorry to hear about that. Thank you. Councilman Hairston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please hold out a number for Emerson Hollingsworth.
So noted.
Thank you. If we could hold out a number for two people, and want to make sure I get their names right. Joshua Cunningham and Dominic Cunningham.
So noted.
Joshua Cunningham and Dominic Cunningham. If we could hold out a number for both of those two. Are there any other condolence resolutions? Any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, will all members rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Are there any congratulatory resolutions?
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Griffin for Monroe Kennedy Sr., by Councilmember Griffin for Ariane B. Kirkpatrick. Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Griffin for Numa Life Foundation for their Family Violence Prevention Week, by Councilmember Casey for Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio Sunburst Snacks. Resolutions of commemoration by Councilmember Slife for the 60th anniversary of Beth Israel, the West Temple.
Thank you. We have two presentations, and I will go first with Carrie McCormick, Councilman Carrie McCormick, and then Councilman Kevin Conwell. What's up, sir?
Situation, there's only 11 members, which means we can't pass anything under suspension. Who left? Nobody left. That's all we ever had was 11.
Alrighty, Mr. President, thank you very much. And I will note that I am the backup today. I'm here on behalf of Councilman Casey, so forgive me if I trip over this a little bit. So, Mr. President, here's Tony from the Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio. I'm going to let her do the majority of the talking here tonight, but I'm just honored to be here with Tony tonight and our awardees. So I'm going to give a quick intro and then turn it over to Tony. And once again, this is Councilman Casey has been our champion on Down Syndrome Day, so it's an honor to be here in his place. In January of 2022, the Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio launched an adult employment initiative with the goal of preparing, connecting, and employing adults with Down syndrome across the region. Central to its initiative was Sunburst Enterprises, which would offer a variety of vocational opportunities for adults with Down syndrome. In March of 2022, the Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio introduced Sunburst Snacks, a paid employment training program that develops essential skills for the workforce through the operation of a small snack business. Tony, take us over and tell us more.
Okay.
Do you want this, or you got it?
I have it on here. I have it. Hello, everybody. The inaugural Sunburst Snacks team included Ted Boughton, Emily Bussey, who's here with us tonight, Jeffrey Dudziak, and Aaron Green. Each team member worked hard to develop skills, achieve their goals, and stretch beyond their comfort zone. Each team member designed an original snack box with a creative name, clever description, and their favorite ingredients. Emily, you want to hold that up so everybody can see it? Together, they organized pop-up snack shops at businesses and events, designed promotional marketing materials, and developed transferable skills using digital payment platforms. With the support of dozens of corporate, nonprofit, and community organizations, schools, and universities, county boards of developmental disabilities, and thousands of individual customers, the team sold over 4,600 boxes in 18 months and earned over $25,000. So, absolutely. They did all this with the help of Will Sanborn, our adult employment coordinator, and we're really happy tonight that Emily is here. We lost a couple along the way, so we have Emily here for everybody, but we're here to honor Teddy B's Super Sweet Boughton for his customer service and dedication, Emily's Wiggles Bussey for her organization and team spirit, Jeffrey the Dude Ranch Dudziak for his leadership and curiosity, and Aaron on the side of Awesome Green for her hard work and positive attitude. With the signature tagline of Snack Outside the Box, the inaugural Sunburst Snacks team delivered delicious snacks, endless laughs, and a bright and hopeful model of inclusion for all. Thank you.
So, Absolutely. So Emily, because we are so darn proud of you tonight, I'm going to ask the mayor to come over as well. Because we are so proud of you, we wanted to present you with a proclamation on behalf of Cleveland City Council and the City of Cleveland. This will be in our public record forever. So this gets voted in tonight, and people in 300 years will be able to read all about you and the good work you're doing. I'm just going to read a little bit. So it says, for council members Casey and the rest of Cleveland City Council, whereas this council and the citizens of the city of Cleveland take great pride and joy in recognizing the Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio on the very special occasion of launching an adult employment initiative with the goal of preparing, connecting, and employing adults with Down syndrome across the region. In March of 2022, the association launched the Sunburst Snacks, a paid 14-week employment training program to develop essential workforce skills. This program operates a small snack stand to achieve its goals. It goes on and on and on, but we're just so, so proud of you and everyone else involved in this great work. So thank you so much.
Can we take a picture? Come on, let's take a picture. Congratulations, gentlemen. Come on. Who, Joan got it?
Joan, you got
Here
it?
you go, right here.
Right here, Emily, come on, right here. Come on, guys. Oh, let me get rid of this.
You got room?
You got one here, you got one here. You got it?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Come on, Tony. I'll give you the Congratulations, Emily.
All right, next up we have Councilman Kevin Conwell. And Councilman Kevin Conwell has a presentation. I'd ask if anyone who he's presenting to, if we can open up the well for him.
I'd like to, Council Lady House Jones come up, and Council Lady Gray to also come up. This is about breast cancer and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Sherry and the rest of them to come up. Gosh, Sherry. There we are. There we are. You know, I'm going to let the ladies talk. I just saw you Saturday when I was gigging at the, what was that? Crayons to lipsticks. Yeah, crayons to lipsticks. These sisters did a great job pushing it and fighting against breast cancer. They closed down East 105th Street. It has several hundred women there. Fighting against breast cancer and telling their stories about cancer. Very, very touching. And they were at Glen Village, 1400 East 105th Street, and they had Cleveland Clinic and other healthcare providers offering health services for women, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And they did it with their passion and health, and I am so proud of you, so proud of you. And you say a few words.
Well, thank you all for having us this evening. So I am a 12-year breast cancer survivor. I contracted cancer with no family history at the age of 32. So after that time, based on my journey with cancer, I started a nonprofit organization called My Sister's Keeper with the mission of surrounding women with any form of cancer with a supportive community. So that's with bill payment assistance, because when you have cancer, you may not be able to work and pay bills. It includes lawn care, child care, whatever our sisters need, we help them. Cancer is something that's deadly, and it's more than a virus that will kill you. It's your mindset. So our goal is to make sure that our sisters have the will to live and to keep fighting. And so that's what we do, and every year we do a cancer walk. But every 2 years we change communities and focus on the underserved communities. So this year and next year we'll be in Glen Village, and then the years after that we'll find another location just to raise awareness, the importance of screening, and to encourage our community to keep fighting.
Thank you very much. Any other
Yes. And these are the women that helped me, Janae Blackwell, Tracy Evans Dent, and Dee Gilner. So they're the team behind the walk that we did this year that had 263 people, men and women. Yep. Yep.
Despite the weather.
Despite the weather, yes.
Right. Even a young man was there He's a breast cancer survivor. Mr. Councilman, I'm a breast cancer survivor. Let me tell you this. As you know, I understand. Anytime someone mentions about cancer, I'm there first thing first, and man, it's a rough fight. And you're not fighting just for yourself. You're fighting for family and friends. And when they tell you that you have cancer, you don't see you. What you do see is Christmas, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Father's Day, all the events and family gathering that you with your family. You might not never ever be able to see it again. And that's what you really truly see. And you see the meaning of life, isn't that right?
Amen. Yes.
You see the meaning of life, and you want to always be with your family and friends. That's what you see. That's what you see, Chris Harsh. You don't see phone calls. You see family and mothers and your niece and nephews and all those kind of things. So on behalf of the 372,000 residents in the city of Cleveland, Council President Blaine Griffin, our friend Mayor, our mayor over here, Mayor Bibb. Would you guys like to say any words real quick? Okay. Well, I have invited the two sisters up here. But we have to give these scrolls. Yes. I'm almost in tears thinking about it. Man, that's a rough thing. It's a rough thing. Yeah, it's rough.
Thank you.
I'm going to read this one out. Janae Blackwell.
It is I.
You black and you well. All day, every day. This council of the city of Cleveland, Janae Blackwell, my sister's keeper, Champions Award on the special occasion of your participation and invaluable contributions in the support of my sister keeper at Glen Village Community Cancer Walk, which was held October the 7th, 2023, in the great community of Glenville. Your heartfelt encouragement and unwavering commitment to surrounding women undergoing cancer treatment with a nurturing and empowering community, we thank you. This council takes great pride in your steadfast efforts that will illuminate the path of countless individuals embodying the spirit of resilientness and compassion. May this scroll stand as a testament to your enduring legacy within my sister keeper family. Congratulations, my sister, and God bless. And it's like that with all the sisters here. I'm not going to go read it again. Sherry White here. It's for Sherry White, thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of Mayor Bibb and the council president, we thank you. Tracy Evans, we thank you also. And what we have here, Gilner, and Michael Backus.
Yeah, she's in Dayton.
She's in Dayton, Ohio. We thank you very, very much on behalf of the City Council, and God bless you. Anything that we can do for you, especially dealing with cancer, man, this is rough and stuff.
Well, I'm gonna need you. We want to start a My Brother's Keeper, so I'll be in touch.
Okay. we talked about that, didn't we? We talked about that. See you later,
I'll be
Mr.
calling
Mayor.
you.
And God bless. Let's move forward with legislation.
Thank you.
Oh, the picture. Kevin, my son, move up. Joan, can you get us from here? All right. You know, the council president was giving me that look. Come on, Kevin, let's move forward. He was giving me the look. And one more. I gotta get down. Y'all gotta help me up now.
Thank you.
Need a second. If we could hold on for a second, we have to manage, go back around, so everybody could hold on for 1 second. All right. First reading emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 1182, 2023, by Council Members Gray, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to apply to the District 1 Public Works Integrating Committee for state funding for constructing improvements to portions of Shaker Boulevard from Buckeye Road to the East Corporation Line, to apply for and accept any gifts or grants for this purpose from any public or private entity, authorizing professional services agreements with public and private entities and any relative agreements, and authorizing the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to acquire, accept, and record for right-of-way purposes any real property and easements necessary to make the improvement. Ordinance 1183, 2023, by Council Members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance to amend sections 241.05 and 35 of the codified ordinances relating to food shop licenses, fees, and categories. Ordinance 1184, 2023, by Council Members Jones, Bishop, Gray, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance to amend the title and sections 1, 2, 4, and 7 of Ordinance 490, 2023, relating to professional services to establish, implement, and manage a revolving loan fund for a home repair and rehabilitation program for Cleveland's southeast side neighborhoods, and to supplement the ordinance by adding a new whereas clause in section 1A, 1B, and 1C. Ordinance 1185, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 660, 2023, relating to a lease agreement with Unify Aviation for the lease of space at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport to support ground handling services for Aer Lingus Airlines. Ordinance 1186, 2023, by Council Members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance to amend Section 21301 of the codified ordinances relating to public swimming pools, public spas, and special use pools, licenses, and fees. Ordinance 1187, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to apply for and accept a grant from the United States Department of Transportation for the Reconnecting Cleveland I-90 program, and authorizing the Director to employ one or more professional consultants to implement the grant. Ordinance 1188, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance on behalf of Cleveland Municipal Court to apply for and accept a grant from the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for the Addiction Treatment Program, admin fee, Special Funding Year 24 program. Ordinance 1189, 2023, by Councilmember Gray, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with Building and Construction Initiative or designee to provide economic development assistance to partially finance completion of renovation of commercial space for training in the construction trades. Ordinance 1190, 2023, by Council Members Santana and Griffin by departmental request to supplement the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio by enacting new Section 143.08 relating to authorizing professional services to administer and provide various city employee health care benefits, and to enact new Section 143.09 relating to professional services to administer the city's COBRA program and HIPAA compliance. Ordinance 1191, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into an amendment to a contract with AECOM Technical Services to extend the term of the contract up to 2 years to provide additional services. Ordinance 1192, 2023, by council members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission or its designee to provide financial assistance to organize and administer programs for marketing the City of Cleveland as a venue for sporting events and to actively market the public auditorium as a premier site for hosting major events. Ordinance 1193, 2023, by council members Jones, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, determining the method of making the public improvement of reconstructing Johnston Parkway from Garfield Heights city limits to Velma Avenue, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into one or more public improvement contracts for the making of the improvement, accepting any gifts or grants, authorize the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to acquire, accept, and record for right-of-way purposes any real property and easements necessary to make improvement and authorizing other agreements. Ordinance 1194, 2023, by council members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, determining the method of making the public improvement of constructing various improvements to the Parma Pump Station and authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more public improvement contracts for the making of the improvement. Ordinance 1195, 2023, by council members Spencer, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to sell city-owned air rights interests no longer needed for the city's public use located on Detroit Avenue adjacent to the West Boulevard Cadell Rapid Station to Flaherty and Collins development for future residential development. Ordinance 1197, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into one or more contracts with MGT of America Consulting for preparation of cost allocation plans and indirect cost rates for the Department of Finance. Ordinance 1199, 2023, by council members Griffin and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with Greater Cleveland Media Development Corporation, DBA Greater Cleveland Film Commission, or its designee, to assist with the general operating expenses of the organization. Ordinance 1200, 2023, by council members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of City Planning to employ one or more professional consultants to provide on-call planning services for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of City Planning.
First reading. Yeah. We gotta wait till next week for everything. We can't do none of them, second or third. We don't have 12. So is that the first one? All right, first reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 1196, 2023, by Councilmember Spencer, to amend the title, the second whereas clause, and sections 1 and 3 of Ordinance 658, 2023, relating to grant agreements with Greater Cleveland Habitat for Humanity. Ordinance 1198, 2023, by Councilmember Casey, authorizing the Director of Department of Aging to enter into agreement with Senior Transportation Connection for the Senior Transportation Connection Resource Fair Project through the use of Ward 16 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 1201, 2023, by Councilmember Moore, to amend Section 2 of Ordinance 889, 2023, relating to an agreement with Jones Road Family Development for the Literacy Through the Arts Summer Academy 2023. Ordinance 1202, 2023, by Councilmember Casey, to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 655, 2023, relating to an agreement with Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation for the Housing Code Enforcement Program. Ordinance 1203, 2023, by council members Bishop, McCormack, Gray, Starr, Griffin, House Jones, Palencic, Conwell, Hairston, Kelly, Moore, Harsh, Santana, Spencer, Casey, and Slythe, to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 1036, 2023, relating to the First Amendment to agreement with Hispanic Police Officers Association for the Puerto Rican Expo.
Alan. We're not reading the motion to suspend the rules. We're not doing nothing else right now. So I'm saying, so that's it. All right. Just so everyone knows, we have flu bug and some illnesses going around, so we have several council members who are out ill today because of illness. Therefore, we're going to hold the passage of the emergency ordinances and the emergency resolutions, as well as the second readings. So we're going to go straight to introductions. Do we have any introductions? Any introductions? Okay, I do want to make sure we acknowledge Judge Monet Scott, if we could, and let's give her a round of applause if we could, Judge Monet Scott. Cleveland Housing Court. And then she has a new Director of Communications that's going to be working with her, Amanda Hartnotes. Amanda Hartnotes, if she could please stand. Really want all the council members to meet Ms. Hartnotes. Judge made a special trip over here to make sure that she got Ms. Hartnotes familiar with all the council people. So please make an extra effort to go introduce yourself to Mrs. Hartnotes so that we could make sure that we continue to have our great working relationship with the housing court. And I think the judge is raising a flyer to give some flyers. I don't know what the date is, but she has flyers that she can give to everybody. And we'll go from there, okay? we gotta do, if you could, why don't you give it to one of the council members and then let them go ahead and do it. I tell you what, we could bring, during your miscellaneous, okay. Councilman McCormick is going to represent during your miscellaneous, so we'll make sure that we get that during miscellaneous, okay? All right, let's move to announcements. Announcements. Announcements? Announcements or miscellaneous?
Announcements.
Okay.
16 years ago, I was blessed to, I wish I had the other piece, but I understand him, to sponsor the 16th Annual Disability Awareness Day Luncheon. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And for more information, reach out and call the Department of Aging, 664-2833. But you didn't write down a location. I know it's on the 24th. Is it 24th or 25th? 25th of this month. And you forgot to put the location down. But when I get the flyer, I will put it in every one box. It's our 16th Annual Disability Awareness Day Luncheon. We believe in the ability and not the disability. So once again, it's our 16th Annual Disability Awareness Day Luncheon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Kerry McCormick for announcements. Okay, we're going to move to miscellaneous. Miscellaneous, Councilman Kerry McCormick.
Mr. Chairman, in lieu of my miscellaneous, I'd like to welcome the judge up to the main microphone just to say a few words if she's interested, with your permission.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman.
absolutely.
Judge,
And
if you want to come up to the main microphone.
And if we could open up the well for the judge, please. Thank you, Councilman McCormick. I was trying to coordinate and quarterback that because we got to make sure we abide by our rules at all times, just like we do when we go to the judge's court.
I apologize. I failed to pay attention to protocol. Councilwoman Rebecca Moyer is not here today. It was my hope that she would announce we have a Cleveland Housing Court Resource Clinic coming to her ward, Ward 12. This is scheduled for October 18th, 2023 from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And so we just wanted to make it known that although this is designated for Ward 12, I always welcome all of the citizens from Cleveland to come out to get resources, get connected, and to find out the things that's happening with Cleveland Housing Court and also our partners, especially Department of Building and Housing. Because we get a lot of questions. And Director Martin O'Toole is usually there to answer all of those questions. So we have that event, and then we have a landlord clinic. So if you know any property owners in the city of Cleveland, property managers that you may be friends with or acquaintances, please let them know that we have a landlord clinic on October 28th. I think it starts at 9 or 10 a.m. at the Harvard Community Service Center. You can register, go to our website, follow us on social media. We have a QR code that you can scan, and it'll take you right to the registration. We welcome that because there are many things that's coming down, including new legislation introduced by the Law Department on behalf of the Department of Building and Housing, Department of Public Health, and that the changes that's coming with Cleveland Housing Court. So thank you.
Thank you, Judge. All right. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Do we have any other miscellaneous? Any other miscellaneous? Councilwoman Stephanie House-Jones.
Yes, thank you. So, we heard from the Palestinian Americans who were here to bring their comments, and I want to thank them for their courage. A lot of times it is increasingly hard with a conflict that has been going on for generations. To be able, to share your truth and your lived experiences when you have loved ones who are in harm. And many times, I know being an elected official, people, they shy away from speaking or saying anything. And so I would feel some type of way if we did not acknowledge that. I also just want to extend an invitation, when we talk about generations of conflict, and we say we want to have peace, but it requires people to actively participate in peace. And so I would say, because again, just the energy and the spirit, and they talked about the tragedy of the 6-year-old who was killed in Chicago, and sometimes just listening to the radio and to hear in the air of how people think that is deserving and right. It's something wrong, in our society. And so, I'm one of those ones that I am opening, to learning on what is happening, but I know it is so much deeper than how we want to put out in the air for. So I just would be remiss if I did not acknowledge them and thank you for their courage, because it is very, very hard to speak up, when you don't have all of the money and the connections and the resources and things of that nature. And again, I know, some of it like, I just want to thank them for coming out and speaking up. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Appreciate you. Are there any other miscellaneous? Councilman Kevin Conwell.
President, over the weekend, and I'm glad the safety chair is here to hear this. These muni games, the parents are coming in and they're out of control, and there's so much violence there. And at Bump Taylor Field in the Glenville community over the weekend was a father shooting at his significant other. And his daughter, a 10-year-old girl, was shot and rushed to University Hospital. And we got to figure out some kind of way, Mr. Chairman, how we deal with that. The thing when I look at with fatherhood and manhood, it's our job to protect women, infants, and children. It's our job when you look at fatherhood. And I always push little girls grow up and they want to get a husband or whatever just like dad, just because they're watching dad. And when we talk about violence and crime in the community, we can't arrest our way out of this. What we need, you gotta push the fathers in the community to get involved and busy in the community. Desserts for dads at the schools. Fathers dancing with their daughters at the schools when they see this. And then they know that the best way to get into a confrontation safety chair is just by watching Dad. How Dad has emotional intelligence and the emotional intelligence to walk away from a fight. Those things is very, very important. Even when you deal with domestic violence, the best thing that a father can do for his children is to respect his children's mother. So this boy sees that growing up, and that's how you combat violence. It's not just police walking around to do that. I mean, that's important, but having the fathers engage with their children, even if they're not married to their children's mother, that stuff is so important in keeping crime down. It's very important. In my community, 3/4 of the head of the household is headed by females, 3/4 at the head of the household. But if the father is not there in the household, he could still be engaged with his children in the schools, in his sports, also in those games that's there on the weekends that we push and we pass. They can see that because the games, they're teaching principles and character at the muni football games. And the character they're teaching is self-control. The character they're teaching at these games is self-esteem. The characters they're teaching at these games is organizational skills. So we gotta watch this as parents and not get out of control, fighting at the games or shooting at the games. You don't need police everywhere. We have to master our own destiny and control what we're doing. But we never, ever talk about at the table, even at safety table, fatherhood and manhood and protecting your community. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there any other miscellaneous? Seeing no other miscellaneous, Madam Clerk, please excuse the absences.
By Councilmember Harsh, that the absence of council members Jones, Casey, Moore, Santana, Spencer, and Starr are hereby excused. Seconded by Councilmember Kelly.
All right. Council is adjourned to the next regular meeting on October 23rd, 2023. Thank you.